Hey, NASDAQ. We get the best dope on the markets. I am Alan Palmer. We're going to look at, it's Friday, October 17th. Okay, we've got we got a couple things here. I've just highlighted here if you want to see it. This is crude oil here. Crude oil, we had these olive line buys. Okay, these would be the olive line extremes. Okay, this would be like, if you think about it, I'm making it up, but it'd be like buying 90%. Fire sale buys, okay? And we got down here. 56.15 is the low. Okay, we got under 56.41. There's two of them, same exact number, just a different data tweak, okay? Here we are right around 57 here. This will be live for next week. For example, actually, watch this 56.41. Either or could hold here, okay? Because this 73 is holding here during the course of the day here. Here, we got two lows here. This is how it plays. 56.75 and 76. And I'll think about that. We're in a penny here. What was that? A dollar? Oh no, 50-cent range. I'm sorry. Okay, 50-cent range. Come back within a penny. Okay, just a penny here. You got a new low stop. And I'm just saying here, but these would be some places if you were looking to buy crude. This, and remember we got down to around 55. I think that was the last time down here. Here is silver. Let's just touch on silver because I want to talk about grains here because I haven't done a grains here. But here's silver that we got down 50.11 the first time here on this almost $4 break. As a matter of fact, I think now we just had a $4 break. 53.76 to 49.66. Okay, 20 grand on one lot. 20 grand on one lot, 5,000 futures contract from high to low. From high to low. Anyway, here, if you have followed any of these, I had these two gray lines. Actually, they were almost white before. I made them a little bit more visible. Here's one of them, 49.81. This red right here, this was a sequence I drew, but it was only a day old. But sometimes these things, you're not going to get people that are just going to be absolutely nanosecond behind with technology. Being a big fund manager, okay. So this would be a halfway back of something that I previously drew here. As a matter of fact, let's look at this on let's look at it on a little longer term. Okay. So that's what that is. Okay, from here to here. Oh, from here to here, this high. So we went up here. 16th and 17th today, and then we broke down here, and this is an old high. Okay, here it was the high. Okay, and I think what was this? The $3 break, 49.65. What did we get down to? And 2 days later, 46.75. What was that? 49.75. Yeah. So that was our $3 break. Okay, and we had been getting bigger breaks. Okay, I had talked about this. Okay. And now here, okay, so we're starting to have a pattern of a possible high, okay? And, this morning, and if you're buying the junk, well, meaning platinum and palladium, okay, that's not what the demand is, okay? So you're going to get people that want to buy the cheap stuff, okay? And like, for some reason, it's going to catch up, but it just doesn't. Trust me on that. I've got 40 years experience. I've got experience going back to 1980 on that, So anyway, so this is silver here. You listen, I'm not going to be putting out, but if we ever got down under 40, I like it down there here, okay? But I'm not going to sit there and just shoot out some ideas here just during the day here. But you can look at the chart here. Let me give you another look at it right here. This would be just off of this last launch here. You got some stuff over here as we were kind of trading higher. And but what I want to talk about, I want to go to the grains because we've got some different things happening here. Okay, now meal has been the dog, okay, because they've been crushing soybeans, okay, and because we've got big bean oil demand, okay, and we're record crushing beans. So, but the problem with that is there's going to be something that people don't want, and that's meal. Okay, now, so recently we had in Argentina, we had them. They did a fire sale on their soybeans. Okay, and they kind of cleaned out the bin. I don't exactly know why they went down to zero tax, but they went down to zero tax, and it was going to be until October 31st, which isn't even now. It's only the 17th. And they sold so many beans in the first 4 days that they stopped it. Okay? And because we all know that macro changes, like in law, which this was, because the law was that you could sell your beans for free, and then the law changes. Okay? And then they go back to whatever it was, 33%, and then 26% was one of the other ones. It doesn't matter. Okay? They sold their beans. So now, what if they oversold? What if they oversold beans and now they need some more beans back down there, okay? And China just bought them all, okay? And since we know, if anybody's been following China, that China lies to the chiefs, they steal, and they back out of grain contracts, okay? That's been going on since the 1980s, okay? Trust me on that. When I was a young man, okay? So that's the meal here now. We got a nice big gap up. And so we might have some shorts in here. So there's a little bit of some. Here's beans again here. Here, beans, we were kind of coming down here. Okay, and it was bleak. Okay, it was bleak. Beans actually been going sideways here all year. Okay, and here we run up to under 11, and here we come back. And we had some things. As a matter of fact, let me put the November up here. This was cleaner here because November, is the new crop. It's the first of the new crop here. So you can see an orange down here. Okay, so when they come down here, these levels are, here you came down to an olive. Okay, here you come back down. Here you come down to a green. You kind of bottleneck. You go down to an orange. Okay, you dick around. Anyway, we close September, okay, September, the end of quarter 3. We got a couple of these very important lines over here. This is going to be the same thing in corn. As a matter of fact, we're right up here in corn. Same kind of chart, a little bit different. Watch for the powdered blues when we go look at the chart. So back over this 28 level here, listen. There's a lot of questions out there about the quality of the crop and the yield, okay? Because the December, we had a very dry December in areas, okay? If you were over in Ohio, you lucked out. And so let's go to corn. So that's November beans. Here, this is March beans. This will give you a little bit more shelf life going forward here. Here you can see there's a little olive line here. See over in the right-hand column here? I'll read it out. 1032, and then there's a 4 after it. That's an eighths. So 1032 and a half, 4/8 is a half. 1028 and the goats. Okay, this was a USDA report here. Okay, the first bullish one, that I remember in a while. As a matter of fact, you know what? I take that back. This might have been one of the bullish report here. This might have been the first bullish report. Anyway, I believe this was. Oh, okay. Okay. This was September 30th. See that? Okay, so that's the end of the quarter. It's a stocks number, okay? That means how many beans are left over from last year and, at the end of the year. And now we're getting ready for this new crop year right now. This is the stuff that they're harvesting right now. And we're about 50% done in corn here, okay? So some people have an indicator. You want some of the... That's why I think you might want to consider getting my chart letter. It's a chart letter, okay? Charts are my artwork, levels are my artwork, and having it displayed in a chart, okay, I was the first one with a wireless Fujitsu on the trading floor, running CQG wireless. And can't remember what year that was, and neither can the guy that set me up doing that. So here we just took out yesterday's high, okay. See, because yesterday we came back and we sold off, okay. Now we're coming back here. Okay, I think this is very constructive. For example, next week, I don't know, this might be an area here, okay, because if, in fact, we've turned, okay, and you get one of these announcements, who knows? And Trump is trying to help the farmers, in my opinion, okay, and you got China playing dirty pool. So we have, that's called geopolitical risk, okay? This is corn. Here, you can see some 7s here. This is a pattern here, okay? This is a pattern. And we'd be printing diamonds here if not for one condition right here. And it didn't even break, but I just have, it's got to be, the condition is not met fully. But this is a big buy program here. See right here, I talked about this level, 410.5 to 411.5. As a matter of fact, I just took it off here, but if you've been following, 47,000 traded right here in these couple bars. This is an intraday, yeah. What was this low? 10 in the goats, yeah, okay. Between 10.5 and 11.5. Right in this area, 47,000 changed hands. To me, that's, and then look at this, okay? You got a trend line coming down. This is a neckline coming down. True, we broke through it and came right back out, so whether it's good or not. But then you have this other one that's a long-term trend line right underneath there, and that's from 24 and 20. Okay? So right from the scamdemic low, okay, and then something from last year. Probably that low, okay? So you got long-term. This is how I display long-term trend lines. I go with the dots. Hashed can be either way. You know, but they kind of prove out there too, and then I just kind of separate them from the other ones. You know, these will be longer term, you know, because you can see it comes over to the left. So we've got this in corn here. 415.5 is big to me. Where's this one? 25.5? Yeah, 425.5. Just under this high. 425 is just kind of a big round figure, you know, just in quarters. $4, 4.25. And then if you look here in corn, okay, here we came down to this olive line. Here it played pretty perfect. You get a pop. You come back down. And, you know, this was a little iffy here because I say you play this close. You know, if you're a hog guy or, you know, you're feeding corn, you know, this is your, well, actually, this is 80% and this one is 90%. But they're different time frames. Okay, just think of it that way. And so that is corn. Here's wheat. You know, this is kind of a week in review here. And this also had an olive line. This is a long-term olive line. And what this one says is that since there's an orange one right below, that's even longer term because orange is not as deep as an olive. Okay. But this olive here at 493, the other olive, this is the thick one, the other one's up at 35.5. Okay, so you can tell that they're 40 cents in between. 40 cents in between olives. Okay, so you guys kind of saw in some of those intraday charts, those olives. So they're kind of close, you know. And but this one is this long term, so. I don't know. I like this, and then okay. So when we play this, you're just betting. You want to buy it, okay, and then you just start betting on higher lows here. So here's an 830. We come back here, come back down here. Here's an 830. This low holds. Okay, here you got this trend line. I don't know what these are trend lines off of here. Let's try to put something a little longer term there. Okay, whatever this is, I might have it in a different time frame here, but it's something. Okay, and actually it kind of looks like we got a blue shaded, but that is not what that's drawn on, okay? And then, but here, the quality of lines, okay? This is what I'm selling you with my artwork. Here it's the low, here it's the low, exact low, okay? I'm talking exact low. Here you open down there, okay? You got a tail and you're kind of, now we haven't made the low, okay? And then look at this, right where it opens, 493. Okay, see that? It says price, and then it go right underneath there. It's open, 493. High is $5.75. Okay, so this means the number is 93 exact. Okay, and that is a very long-term number. That's almost like a decade old. So it's really reaching back in value there. That somebody right there on not a sharply lower, but about a 1% lower here, because it looks like we closed at 96 in the goats. So it was it was so 3 3/4, almost 1% lower. This guy, the money manager here, okay, puts in order 493 for everything you got to sell. Trade transacts, you get a little low tick there, half a cent through, and this is where we are here. 508 will be a level here, and then I got, you know, some trend lines right there here. Now we start getting back above this low, back above this low. These are things that'll get more short covering here. So if you're looking to buy wheat, you know, Maybe early next week you get a chance to buy it lower. Maybe not. Maybe that's the low. Okay. So what else? Okay, since we started here, now we just have a new time frame here. So now we're posting another 7. This would be posting diamonds here. Oh, check this out in the gold. Okay, here 7, 8, 9. And then here we got a teal trend line. Okay, this is a candlestick. As a matter of fact, both of these are candlestick trend lines. I use those colors just because, first of all, you know, it turns out pretty good. You can view it. As a matter of fact, this is the same one. This is a different kind of candlestick trend line here. I just kind of differentiated this. This might be a little bit more longer term, but these are all based off of candlesticks. You want to learn how to draw candlesticks? Here's the silver we just had. Now we just posted this. This is in the longer term chart. Posted a 7, and here's the S&Ps. You know, just a little comment here. I don't know. You know, you can't really sit there and say to sell it here, but, you know, there's a lot of leverage. It seems like there's a lot of leverage here. I wouldn't buy this thing long here. Now, there's been some talk here. We do a blow off here. But, you know, and maybe we do. Absolutely we do. But I think this is a trading market here. We were down actually 100. We're 100 off the lows, 65.71. And we're at 66.68. As a matter of fact, here we are. We're right around the doubles number, right here. As a matter of fact, here it is. The last 2 bars, okay? I just have that mapped up there. Why? Because back in the crash, what was the low? 666, okay? So 666 was the low on 3909, square root day. And here we are up 1,000%. Was it 14, 15, 16 years later? 16 years later. So, you know, just so you, you know, here. You gap up here. And then kind of try to buy it here. I don't know. You know, here it's a low. You know, here maybe you can make an argument that they're playing. It's just a number. And it's also one of these light greens, okay? In this particular sequence here. And we did go up there and post an olive sell right there. See how close they are? You know, they're pretty close, but they're still here. It's 10 handles apart, you know, so it's $500 a mini apart, you know, apart. So, you know, but, and sometimes when they're very close, I say sell the first one and forget about it. And as a matter of fact, we saw that in the feeder cattle, or in the cattle, I believe. So here you break here back down to this part of the sequence. You come back over here. Got a couple of, this is in the S&Ps here. But now you're kind of setting up here. We'll see, man. You know, this will be a little bit of a surprise here. This might be for tonight. What time is it? It's 12:47, bottom right-hand corner. See it? Okay, so here, this trend line held here. What does this come in? Right now it comes in at 66, call it 44, round down, okay? And where you'd have a little head and shoulders top, right? Head, shoulder, one of these over here, shoulder over here. Okay, this would be a possible neckline, okay, top. And, well, what do you do with that here? I'll give you a free trading lesson, okay? So we're going to take them from here to here to measure it. This isn't going to be exact. See down there? See those, the fuchsia and that other green? Okay, so that would be something like this, 64.71, 64 half. Okay, that'd be new lows by 100. I'm just saying. This is bean oil over here. You know what? I'm not going to blow this up. This is a weekly chart here. Okay, so you have a possible bottoming pattern. Okay, just where you're trying to buy it against previous week's low. Okay, and so here we got a couple of that pattern. Okay, for that particular player. And anyway, so here we come back up to, this is a black trend line here. This has got to be off some old lows rather. Let's see what that is. Did that hit? Oh, it looks like it missed. The high in April 25 and 11/11 of 24. 11/11. That was right after the election. Okay. Anyway, okay, and then a black. Sometimes I use the black ones here. Black is also last price here, 51.07. It's tucked underneath here. And here's one of those gaps, like I've said. That's what I use for the gaps. So just one more time, you know, just maybe if one was looking to buy the crude oil, you know, we rallied a buck, okay, you know, you know, if you were looking, you could stick a bid in down there. Let's look at this gold here. Let me give you a bigger look here in gold. Look at that. Okay. Here we go. We got the same pattern. Okay, see the sevens going off? Look at this. It's straight up here. I'll give you a blown up picture here. See these sevens right here? And look at this. You don't back off much. And I got some advice on these. When you know, not to sell it over these, okay? There's a certain reason why. I can explain the logic. I had mentored many traders on the trading floor. You know, they come on as a clerk. They want to learn how to trade, you know, and then they clerk. And for you, you know, for you. And, okay, well, we're going to call this a wrap. So if you need something, get a hold of me. ARP@NASDOG. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely weekend. And long live the Republic, to which it stands, one nation under God. Thanks for watching.